Hey, this is Justin again. We're going to move over to the next phase of pricing out a screen print quote off of the garment calculator for standard quotes. Um, to move on to the first step, you would need to look back on the first video, make sure you have everything filled out in your orange banner correctly for this quote to be able to function appropriately. When it comes to the next following step, is to choose your screen print team. Um, well, there is Fort Worth included, as well as our second screen printer, Atlanta Screen Prints. Either one, use either one. Fort Worth charges a rush fee based on closer deadlines. Atlanta Screen Prints do not. When it comes to finding out the exact details for this calculator, you can click on one of these two buttons, Atlanta Screen Prints. This will show you the details on the spread of cost of each, as well as the quantities and the plus sizes and deadlines. When it comes to Atlanta Screen Prints, there's also a profit calculator that will show you the exact cost of goods, with the gross margin markup and royalty, as well as the royalty being taken out of it, and the profit being made from that order. This also applies to Fort Worth as well. We'll also show you the same cost to give you an idea. Only if you click on the details tabs. For the next step, after you have selected your screen print team, you move on to step 3, which is deciding whether or not this order is a repeat order. Repeat orders are priced less. Reason that is that they're reusing the same film. They're not burning off more. If you have a repeat order, click yes. If you don't, click no. The next following step is adjusting your front print, if it's a front left crest, and fill in the number of colors or screens being used for the order. When it comes to, as an example, if you have an order that you're trying to get 3 colors done, and you have a black shirt, you just need to make sure you account for base. This calculator does not account for base. You would have to fill that in yourself. So instead of you doing 3 colors, you would fill it in with 4 to account for base. If you want to do it back, let's say 1 color and have a base also applied to it, instead of 1, you can put in 2. The next step is accounting for if you're using special inks. Special inks are priced more. Special inks are like using glitter, metallic, or puffed out ink. If you're looking just to get a single color with a special ink, you just basically hit 1. If you want to do all of them with a special ink, you just have to just remove the base. Base doesn't require a special ink. If you don't want to do any special inks, just go ahead and click no, and move on to the next step, step 6. Step 6 is getting your if your order is a specialty print. Specialty print meaning if you're printing on a pocket or printing onto a pair of pants or a tote bag, something unique that's not like a traditional garment print. When it comes to, if you were to choose, let's say maybe a pocket t-shirt, like a G230 pocket tee, and you want to print a left crest, you would just update the left crest on that and make sure you fill this in with 1, since that is a specialty print. When it comes to, let's say, printing onto a tote bag, if you were just to print onto a tote bag, change the product style of the tote bag product ID. And if you're just doing one side, for a tote bag, you just also fill that up with 1. If you want to do the front and back of the tote bag, you just have to account for the second side, so fill it in with 2. When it comes to doing, standard t-shirts, if you're doing like left sleeve or right sleeve, you don't have to account for further specialty print locations. It's already included in with it. So you would just, fill in the standard number of colors and base being used, and just leave this on 0. The next following step is accounting if your order requires like an art film screen separation, meaning if your design requires your design to be have a film separation done to it, as an example, like a rastered image, something that you're not able to convert into a vectored format. As an example, maybe a photograph. Photographs usually are like 9 colors. You just have to account for base, so instead of 9, 10. When it comes to doing art and film separation, it is priced more. You just have to make sure you have the design that's getting art film separated account for it. So in this case, the photograph is getting 10 colors done, so you just fill that in with 10. The same if you were to do 2 different photographs, one on the front, one on the back, you would have to account for both of them. So instead of just 10, you just add them both together, so 20. If this order is a repeat order and you already have done the art film separation phase, you just have to remove this, select no. If when it comes to repeat orders, since it's already, the film's already separated, that extra cost shouldn't account for it at all. The next step, step 8, is to see if your design requires any color change. As an example, if you were trying to change, your single black T-shirt, from instead of 1 color, you want that 1 color to be 2. Instead of printing, blue, you can print blue and white. You would just have to account for that color change. So you're only changing it 1 time for that front, so you just fill in that 1 extra screen that's going to be changed out. The same thing when it comes to if you're doing more than 1 color. Instead of you're just wanting blue and white switched out, you want to have more colors, like a green and a yellow. You just have to count the extra 2 on there. So instead of 1, you would do 3. If you want to do both sides with the screen with the color change, 1 color change on the front, 1 color change on the back, you just have to add them both together. So instead of 1, there'll be 2. If you don't want to do a color change, just fill in no. Going back onto the art film separation, our second guys, Atlanta Screen Prints, they do not charge for art film separation, which is one of the few things to keep in mind. Another thing is that if you want to do if your client wants to do any custom tags, hit yes. The max size you can do on custom tags for your client's garments is maxed out 3x3. It can be smaller than that, but you can't exceed any more than 3x3. When it comes to print colors being used, you can only do 1 color for tags. You can't do it any more than that. The other thing is that you would have to have your design set up for your different sizes for doing tags. If you don't want to do tags, just hit no. The final step is finding out your rushing costs. If your order requires it to be rushed, Fort Worth charges a rushing fee percentage based on your end date. If you don't have an end date, you would you don't want to have be charged a rush fee. You just basically choose the 0% rush. Having that set up will automatically generate the end date when it's expected without being charged a rush fee. If you want to see how soon you can get the order by, this will bring out a yellow bar that shows the rush cost of its markup, with our markup applied to it, to show how much it costs when it comes to having the rush fee applied to it. As well as it'll show the rush and the start and end date to see how soon we can get it by. If your client does have a end date, you would select the 05 end date option down below. This will grab the end date from your your previous orange banner where it says end date, and account for it accordingly. Choosing that, if you have an end date that requires a sooner turnaround, will automatically generate a rush fee, whichever percentage it lies at. As an example, if you want a little bit sooner, or your end date is on that, it'll tell you how much more it's going to cost and what percentage it lies on. When it comes to setting up your plus size cost, you just have to make sure that your quantity matches what your client's desired quantity will be set up as. This will be when it comes to off your previous phase of getting your banner set up. This concludes of how to navigate the screen print standard process of quoting a traditional order. The next phase is trying to quote a more complex order, an advanced style, meaning that you can use several designs at different quantities. What this method does is spreads the decoration cost evenly through all the style garments. At the next video. This concludes this video.